She was beautiful, until I saw her footprints were backwards. This is the day I encountered the Huldra. I've hiked alone for years. Solitude is comforting to me, not frightening. So when I decided to walk the trails deep in Norway's Jotunheimen region, I expected nothing more than silence and scenery. But the forest felt different this time, older somehow, heavier. After 3 days, I hadn't passed a single person. Snow coated the ground in a thin crust, cracking under each step. At dusk, I spotted her, a woman standing between the birch trees, long blonde hair cascading down her back like a river of gold. She wore a simple white dress, thin enough that I wondered how she wasn't freezing. "Are you lost?" she asked. Her voice was soft, melodic, almost musical. I told her no. I asked if she needed help. She smiled. It was the kind of smile that dissolved every worry you had in your body. "I can show you a beautiful viewpoint," she said. "Very close." I followed without thinking. Her presence felt warm, intoxicating, like stepping into a dream. We walked through a narrow path lined with dead branches. Her steps were light, graceful. Something made me glance down. Her footprints were backwards. I froze mid-step. She kept walking until she realized I wasn't behind her. She turned her head just slightly, enough for me to see her cheek. But even that felt wrong. Stretched, strained. "Come," she whispered. Her voice had changed. It was deeper now, hungrier. I stepped back. Her hair lifted slightly, revealing something through the strands, something hollow. Her back wasn't a back. It was a hollowed-out trunk, wooden, rotting, filled with twisting roots and crawling things. And then I saw the tail, a long, matted cow tail swaying behind her, the Huldra. She moved first, jerking toward me with an inhuman speed, smile tearing wider, eyes darkening like storm clouds. I ran. Branches clawed my face. Snow crunched underfoot like breaking bones. I didn't look back, not even when I heard her laugh, echoing through the forest like a broken flute. I reached my cabin breathless, slamming the door shut. That night she circled the cabin. I could hear her voice, sweet, beautiful, inviting, calling my name softly through the wooden walls. I didn't sleep. And at sunrise, I saw her footprints around the cabin, walking backwards. The Nyx is real, and it almost drowned me. I went to Lake Siljan in Sweden to be alone, not because I hated people, but because I needed to feel like I still existed without them. My girlfriend of 4 years had left me. My job was eating me alive, and every morning I woke up feeling like I was dissolving a little more. So I took a week off, grabbed my tent, and drove north to a place where even phone signals struggled to survive. The lake was beautiful in that quiet, haunted Scandinavian way. Endless sheets of pale ice stretched across the surface, black pines crowding the horizon like watchful onlookers. By the third night, the loneliness began to settle in, not in a peaceful way, more like something crawling under my skin. That was the first night I heard it. A violin, soft, slow, beautiful. Coming from under the frozen lake, I sat frozen, no pun intended, listening. The melody wasn't random. It flowed like something practiced for centuries. It was sad, yearning, but deliberate, and faintly. It wove my name into the notes. I told myself it was the wind, just wind. But the next night, the music came back. Closer, I stepped onto the ice with my lantern, watching the cracks webbed beneath my boots. The melody drifted up, clearer now. I knelt and placed my ear to the ice. There was breathing beneath it, slow, deep, inhuman. My blood turned to frost. I backed toward the shore when something tapped the underside of the ice. Then again, like fingers. I jerked away. The tapping followed me, matching my steps. The violin swelled, rising into a frantic scream of notes, and then I saw a shape, a silhouette beneath the ice, a man's face, pale, stretched, hair floating in the blackness like seaweed. His eyes were black pits, his lips were blue. He smiled up at me, and then he knocked again, on the ice, right under my feet. I ran. That night, I didn't sleep. I watched the lake from my tent, lantern shaking in my hand. At 3:12 a.m., the violin began again, this time right outside my tent. I stepped out, breath freezing in the air. Something stood at the shore, tall, wet, dripping, human-shaped, but wrong. Its arms were too long, its head tilted as if its neck had been snapped. Hair clung to its skin like vines. In one hand it held a violin, rotted, warped, impossible to be playing. But it was. The bow moved on its own. It stepped onto the ice. The melody changed, sweet, comforting, hypnotic. My chest grew warm. My mind softened. My fear melted like snow in spring. It wanted me to come closer. And God help me. I almost did. When the creature reached the center of the lake, it lowered the violin. Slowly, carefully, like setting down a gift. It sank straight down through the ice without cracking it. The violin stayed, waiting for me. I packed my tent at dawn and left without looking back. A week later, someone sent me a local news report. A tourist had gone missing near Lake Siljan. All they found was a single object on the ice, a violin still dripping. My uncle came back from the sea a week after he drowned. We found the boat drifting at dawn. My uncle Henrik was a seasoned fisherman, 40 years on the Norwegian coast, storms and all. But when a sudden squall hit while he was out alone, everyone assumed the worst. After a week, his boat washed ashore. Claw marks covered the deck. The nets were torn like something had ripped through them from the inside. They found no body. We held a memorial, but my cousin Lena refused to accept he was gone. She said she could feel him nearby, hear him, smell the sea whenever she slept. 2 nights later, I stayed with her. Around 2 a.m., the dogs outside started howling. Then we heard the footsteps, slow, heavy, dragging, moving along the gravel outside the house. Lena whispered, "Papa?" Before I could stop her, she opened the door, and he was standing there, or what was left of him. His skin was gray and swollen, stretched too tight around waterlogged flesh. Seaweed hung from his jaw. One eye was gone, just a dark hole dripping seawater. His clothes were torn, covered in barnacles. He reached toward us with fingers that looked broken in 3 places. "Home," he gurgled, voice bubbling like something trapped inside his throat. The stench of rot and salt hit me so hard I gagged. Lena ran forward, screaming his name. I grabbed her, pulling her back, but the Draugr stepped inside the house with unnatural strength. Everything froze. The air, the dogs, even the lights flickered out. Draugr bring cold, death cold. He kept repeating, "Home," voice rotting, limbs twitching like they were remembering how to move. Then he snapped his head toward me. The hole where his eye used to be widened. He reached. I slammed the door and dragged Lena to the back. The house shook as he pounded on the walls, leaving deep frozen fingerprints in the wood. By dawn, he was gone. But the footprints, massive, waterlogged and reeking of sea rot, led back into the ocean. And another set circled the house, like he was looking for a way in. like he would return. He hasn't yet, but every morning, Lena finds seawater on the porch.